The Quest. Hunt out unlikely heroes from the past to discover their superhero talents and to learn God's promises for us today. Your quest is to answer the question, can you be a hero for God?
Hi HTAkids, are you ready for some more fun? Are you up off those sofas? It's action-packed today. Lots of action in fact, because it's time for another HTAkids online. Hi Squawk! Oh, it's so... Oh, what's the matter? What? You've got a bit of a headache. But we always say out loud, we're loud and proud, aren't we HTAkids? Loud and proud. I was going to say, Squawk, you're not really the quiet retiring type. You're usually the loud one, but you're not feeling well. Oh dear, well let's tell everyone at home what the session's called today. I'll try and be a bit quieter. Okay, it's called Shaking and a Quaking or Loud and Proud. I'm sorry you're not feeling well, Squawk. I'm sorry about that, sweetie. Would you like an orange? They're really good for you. They're full of vitamin C. I'm sure you'll feel better. There you are after you've had that. Okay, off you go, Squawk. We'll see you later on. Okay, HTAkids. Now we can be a bit louder and prouder. Squawk's gone back to bed. Are you going to help him today? Are you going to help him to conquer the quest? Hey, here's the first clue. Let's rip it open and see what it is. It's a shame Squawk's not here. I'll have to tell him about it. What does it say today? It says, our unlikely hero found himself under the weather. Ready to get a soaking? Okay, soaking. Shower maybe. Maybe he's having to have a shower. No, it said soaking, doesn't it? Soaking's not a shower. It's when you get really wet. You know, when you get out there and you've not got a coat on and the rain comes down and you get so wet. Who could that be? Have you got any ideas at home? Could it be Noah? He got a soaking. 40 days of soaking. Could be Noah. But then the title says Shaking and a Quaking. I didn't think Noah was afraid of anything. In fact, he was quite safe in that boat. And loud and proud? I don't think he's loud and proud. He didn't seem loud. He just got on with the job, didn't he? I don't think it's Noah. Who else could it be? Got any ideas? It's a tough one. I think we're going to have to wait and see and find out some more clues later. Well, all you super spies out there, time for some spy spotting. It's rain this week, rain clouds. Can you see? Right, how many of those can you spot by the end of the session? As always, I'll tell you the answer at the end. The unlikely hero this week had something to do with the weather. It seems like he could control it. But he can't control the weather. Only God can do that, so he must have had a direct line to God. We're going to play a game just to make sure you are wide awake, because I think we're not going to need our brains this week. So if I shout, rain, you've got to cover your heads, like that. Now if I shout, sunshine or sun, you've got to go, whoo, whoo, because it's really hot. And if I shout, it's time for a barbecue, to start chomping on those hamburgers, like that. Now the music's going to go, and while it's going, we're going to be dancing away. But if I shout any of those words, remember rain, sunshine, it's time for a barbecue. Then you've got to do the actions, okay? See if you can keep up with me.
1, 2, 3, 4. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
Rain.
When I gaze into the
Sun.
stars, when I see the life of planet Mars, there's only one creator. When I watch
It's
the
barbecue
night,
time.
when I feel the sun is burning bright, there's only one creator.
Sun.
So clap your hands and sing, shout out and worship him. So clap
It's
your
barbecue
hands
time.
and sing, and let the praise begin. Oh wow, what a God! Oh wow, what
Rain.
a God! There's no one like you. I never
worship song today. It's the one about the God suit, because I think our unlikely hero this week definitely needed to be wearing that. I really think he did. So let's remind ourselves of what we can put on in the morning and dance along with the song.
Every morning when I wake, I get ready, got my armor for the day. I get ready, this way, I know you're with me every step I take. Whoa, this way, I know you're with me every step I take. I got the sword of the spirit, the shield of faith, the belt of truth around my waist. When I feel weak, you make me strong, never back down. I got my God suit on. Every battle that I face, I'll be ready when the arrows fly my way. Hold me steady, this way, I know you're with me every step I take. Oh, this way, I know you're with me every step I take. I got the sword of the spirit, the shield of faith, the belt of truth around my waist. When I feel weak, you make me strong, never back down. I got my God suit on. Your saving grace will guard my head. Your righteousness like a bulletproof vest. These good news shoes were made to run, never back down. I got my God suit on, never back down. I got my God suit on. Got my hands in the air and your praise on my lips. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Every battle I face, my God has won. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Got my hands in the air and your praise on my lips. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Never back down. I got my God suit on. This way, I know you're with me every step I take. Whoa, this way, I know you're with me every step I take. I got the sword of the spirit, the shield of faith, the belt of truth around my waist. When I feel weak, you make me strong, never back down. I got my God suit on. Your saving grace will guard my head. Your righteousness like a bulletproof vest. These good news shoes were made to run, never back down. I got my God suit on, never back down. I got my God suit on.
Oh, can you hear that music again? I can hear it. I wonder what he's going to tell us to do this time. We need to help Squawk while he's not here, don't we? Are you with me at home?
The unlikely hero you're about to meet cooked a tasty barbecue. How good are you at spotting what's missing? Only if you are good enough can you continue in the quest.
Okay then, are you ready at home? How are those brains? I told you we would need them this morning. So we've got a menu up here, look. We've got our menu and you've got 10 seconds to memorise it. So are you ready? On your marks, get set, go! Okay, now I hope you've got that all in your brain, because in a minute one of those things is going to disappear and you've got to guess which one it is. So are you ready? Close your eyes. 3, 2, 1, open them. Which one's gone? Come on, shout, tell me. What is it? Okay, well done. You are home. Shall we have another go? Close those eyes. 3, 2, 1. Which one's missing? Can you guess? Have you got it? That's excellent. Okay, last time. Come on, let's get this quest done. Are you ready? In a minute, it's going to disappear again. Close your eyes. 3, 2, 1. Have a look. Which one's missing? Wow, you are really winning this week. Well done.
You may continue the quest.
Oh, it's great that you're feeling better, Squawk, isn't it, everyone at home? I was getting worried that you wouldn't be able to put those goggles on and you wouldn't be able to go back in time, and we really want to meet our unlikely hero, don't we? Oh, I'm so pleased that orange has worked wonders. Right, oh, hang on a minute. Can you hear that music? Oh, get ready for the promise. Right, let's God's promises. Let's get those goggles on and see what it is today. Look, just go open your bag. Here they are. Let's put them on. Gosh, it's amazing how they work on you. Are you ready? Can you see anything, Squawk? You're zooming in today. Can you see? Oh, he's got something, I think. Right, everyone at home, let's see what Squawk can see.
Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord. He is the maker of heaven and earth. Psalms chapter 121, verse 1 and 2.
Okay, HTAkids, actions, they always help us. They've done really well, and Daniel was fab last week, wasn't he? So let's see if we can think of some actions for the verse this week. Where? That's when we look, don't we? Look around to try and find it. Where does my, so point to yourself, my, and then help. That's a bit like with, when somebody's with you, they're helping you. So we could do our hands again gently because they're helping you. So where does my help come from? Where does it come from? Okay, and that's a question. We can do a question mark, can't we? To go question mark and then because for that full stop bit at the bottom. Okay, so let's try that again. Ready? Where does my help come from? Question mark. And the next bit can be the same. So my help comes from, and then the Lord. Right, and then full stop. Like that. So let's try that again. My help comes from the Lord. Here's the maker. Lego. Let's build a big Lego tower like that. Maker. The maker of heaven, that's upwards, isn't it? And earth, downwards. Heaven and earth. So let's try it from the beginning, right? And then we'll add the verse back to it. Are you ready? Hard one, tricky one this week. Right. Where does my help come from? Okay, don't forget that. My help comes from the Lord. Full stop. He is the maker, make that tower, of heaven and earth. Now this is the cool bit. Are you ready? It's Psalm 121. So 121. Verses 1 and, in maths we do an add sign for and, don't we? 1 and 2. So you ready? Let's try that again. Psalm 121 verse 1 and 2. So every time you do your ones, you do in this hand, and your twos are in that hand. Oh, I like it. Let's try it from the top. Are you ready? Do you know this is an amazing psalm that David wrote? So let's go for it. Are you ready? Where does my help come from? Question mark. My help comes from the Lord. Full stop. He is the maker of heaven and earth. Full stop. Psalm 121 verses 1 and 2. You've got it. Well done.
Your next instructions are to send your report to discover the unlikely hero's hidden talent.
Okay, Squawk, time travelers at home. It's that time again to meet our unlikely hero today. I've heard he's a bit fiery, or maybe there was fire involved somewhere in his adventure with God. I think perhaps it's both. So exciting! Rebecca, where are you today?
Hello HTAkids, this is Rebecca Nisbet, reporting from the top of a mountain, Carmel I think the sign says. It's a bit smoky and it smells like there's been a barbecue up here. Yes, definitely steak, but I can see someone over there. Hi, excuse me, have you got a moment? I wondered, can I ask what's been going on up here? I'm looking for an unlikely hero who doesn't mind playing with fire, so I think I'm in the right place.
Well, I've got a couple of minutes, but I'm just about to go because I don't know if you've heard the weather forecast, but it's going to rain really, really heavily. And I've also heard that I'm not very popular around here at the moment. That Queen Jezebel, or Queen Jez as we like to call her, she doesn't want me around these days. She'd rather get me out of the picture, if you know what I mean. I think she's rather upset and rather cross with me because I insulted, well, didn't really just insult. I got rid of all her crazy prophets that worship this idol Baal. She's not very happy with me at all for doing that. So I'm about to go and find a cave and keep my head down, if you know what I mean.
Okay, I won't take up much of your time, but can you tell me what went on up here?
Let me start at the very beginning. It started with me being a weatherman and asking God to stop the rain. You know, I had all those symbols, but, you know, rain and lightning and sun and everything, but the rain had a big cross through it saying, "Don't let it rain, God." And you know, it didn't rain for 3 years. Quite a long time, as you can imagine, and people weren't that happy with me. In fact, they were getting a bit of a state. You see, I was God's messenger, and God would often ask me, to pass on a message. It's really cool, actually, because that's called being a prophet. Well, that's God, wasn't happy with King Ahab and Queen Jez. They worshipped a really silly pretend god called Baal and had done really awful things to God's messengers in the past. Indeed, you know, really, there used to be lots of us. But actually now there's just me.
I guess you were keeping out of the way?
Haha, you're not kidding there. That's until God told me to go and talk to the king again. Well, I wasn't really jumping up at the chance to see him. We're very excited about that prospect, so I thought I'd ask him to come to me. Pretty brave thing to say, "King, come and have a chat with me." And you know, when he did come, he wasn't really that nice. He wasn't very polite at all. In fact, he started shouting. Would you believe he started shouting, "You're a troublemaker, Elijah." I told him, well, actually, you're the troublemaker, King. You're the troublemaker, worshiping that stupid pretend God instead of the living God, the true God. Well, you can imagine he wasn't very pleased. I guess he just wasn't really used to people talking to him like that.
I mean, no, I can't imagine talking to the Queen of England like that.
Well, I don't even know where England is. But no, you wouldn't really, would you? But he needed some rain and God was on my side. His God, Baal, wasn't really answering his prayers. Funny that. Hey!
Okay, so what happened next?
Well, I had faith and trusted God and knew that God wanted to teach the king a thing or two. Well, actually, he wanted to teach everybody a thing or two. So I told the good old king to come and meet me here on Mount Carmel with everybody from Israel so they could see what was going to happen. The power of the living God. And I had faith. So I told them to make sure that they had 450 messengers or prophets of Baal and that they would turn up. And then Queen Jez, she could have her 400 prophets too. That's quite a lot. I mean, if you add that up, what's that, 400, 450? Oh, that's 850, isn't it? It was going to be a huge showdown. God, the living God, versus Baal.
How exciting. You put yourself out there. You really had faith that God would work with you.
Of course I did. He was telling me to do what to do all along the way. He was giving me instructions.
Go on then.
So picture it. The whole of the city here on Mount Carmel. 850 prophets, the king and the queen, versus me. Well, of course that's not really true, is it? It wasn't just actually me, because I wasn't alone. God was definitely there. So I started speaking, well, shouting really. I shouted, "How much longer will you try to have things both ways? If the Lord is God, worship him. But if Baal is God, worship him." Silence. Nobody said anything. So I continued, "I am the Lord's only prophet, but Baal has 450 prophets. Bring 2 bulls. Baal's prophets can take one of them, kill it, cut it into pieces. Then they can put the meat on the wood without lighting the fire. And I'll do the same thing with the other bull. And I won't light a fire under it either. The prophets of Baal will pray to their God, and I will pray to the Lord my God. So let's see whether Baal or the living God starts a fire." Great idea, eh? Well, the whole crowd thought it was and started cheering.
Wow, a barbecue without a match to light it. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and then there was the next bit. I have to say it made me snigger. Okay, so I couldn't help but laugh out loud at the prophets of Baal and tease them a lot. I told them that they could go first. Then I just stood back and watched. They built their bonfire, and then they tried to pray to Baal. They danced, they prayed, then they screamed. They did all sorts of weird and wacky things until they were utterly exhausted. It was lunchtime by now, so I couldn't help myself. I shouted, "Oh, come on! Maybe your God's on the toilet. Maybe he's having his lunch. Shout a bit louder. Maybe he can't hear you." Guess what? No fire. No barbecue.
That's really funny.
Yeah, and then it was my turn. So I took 12 stones. This is really cool. 12 stones to honour God. 1 for each of the tribes of Israel. I put wood on the top. Then I put the steak, a nice big piece of steak on top of the wood. Then this is the really good bit. I dug a ditch around the bonfire and poured so much water on top of the wood that it filled the ditch. Really good idea, or what?
I mean, not really. Everyone knows that water puts out fire.
Ah, but not this fire, baby. Are you ready for what happened next? I chatted to God. I prayed. "Our Lord, you are the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. Now prove that you are the God of this nation, and that I, your servant, have done this at your command. Please answer me, so these people will know that you are the Lord our God, and that you will turn their hearts back to you." And then, singed like round time. Immediately God sent fire down. It burnt the steak, wood, stone, scorched the earth around it. No water left.
Terrifying. God's power is incredible.
You're telling me. Took my breath away too. In fact, I think a few people wished they had gone to the loo, if you catch my drift. Now, people weren't silent. They shouted, "The Lord is God! The Lord is God!" And all I could see was the prophet of Baal's, soles of the feet as they started running away. They were hammering down the road. I then told Ahab to get ready because the rain was coming. You should have seen his face. So here I am with you, and you should take shelter soon too, because I'm going to pray for rain. Can you see that little speck of a cloud over there? That means the rain is coming.
Well, I'm not sure I can, but if you say so, then I'm sure it's God speaking to you, and I'd better run for shelter too. This is Rebecca Nisbet, signing out for the HTAkids News. Over to you, Jane and Squawk.
Squawk, what a cool and likely hero. It seems that the quest is definitely showing us that God looks for a particular talent in people. Look over there. There are some words. Can you see them, time travellers?
One last last quiz I have for you. Answer the big questions, and then you're through.
Oh, Squawk! Have you brought your friends with you? Who's that? Coco. It's Coco. Oh, everybody. So you made you to feel better today. You were feeling poorly, weren't you? Oh, hi, Coco. Gosh, everyone at home, we've got a new person here, Coco. All right, Squawk and Coco, that was a cool and likely hero, wasn't it, that we had? Yeah, do you think everyone at home is going to be able to answer the questions in our quiz? Yeah? Okay, what do you think, Coco? Do you think they will be able to? Oh, brilliant. Okay, then everyone at home, have a go at the quiz. Shout out the answers if you know it then. Did you do okay? So what do you think Elijah was doing before and after the contest? Well, do you know what he was doing? He was hiding. Yep, he was hiding in a cave, being really less than heroic. Yeah, you wouldn't know that he was the hero that he had been or was going to be. Ahab was after him. He was trying to kill him. He had been hunting him for a long time. Shaking and quaking? He certainly was. But you know what? God was with him, looking after him the whole time. So, how did he suddenly get all that courage to face everyone and go for that contest? How did he do it? How did he change from someone shaking and quaking to being loud and proud of the living God? Well, he obeyed God first. Even though he was really scared, he put God first. He had faith that God would be with him, even though he faced danger. He chose to obey God and stand before that huge crowd, including Ahab and Jezebel, and speak out about the living God and who the true God was. Do you know, it wasn't Elijah's idea, it was God's, and that's what made the difference. Elijah had faith in God, listened to God, and just went for it. And what he did was absolutely nuts, unless you had God giving you the instructions and telling you what to do. Who on earth would put water on something that you were trying to burn? Wow, do you remember the theme for today? Shaking and quaking, or loud and proud? Well, Elijah was definitely shaking and quaking, but God and his faith in God and his trust in God and his obedience made him loud and proud. and he won that contest. Well, was it him or was it God? I'll leave you to think about that answer. What a hero. Hey HTAkids, have you got the answer to the last question? The answer to the quest. What can we learn from our unlikely hero today? Do you think Elijah was celebrating after that amazing victory? Do you think so? Well, he wasn't. He'd gone back to that cave. He was quaking and shaking. He was afraid, in fear of his life, because Ahab was after him again. He was also really tired, exhausted. Do you think God was angry with him and cross with him? Thinking, come on Elijah, I've shown you what I can do. What do you think you're playing at? No. God loved Elijah and he cared for him and he understood how he felt. If you read the next bit in the Bible, it says that God spoke to Elijah and he spoke to him in a really gentle way. I think the quest wants us to know that God understands how we feel. Do you know what? I think he wants us to know that he loves you so much that he's willing to walk with you every step of the way. I think he wants us to know, like the promise that we've learned this week, that we don't need to do it on our own. It wasn't Elijah's strength. God was helping him, and he'll help you too. Where does Elijah's and our help come from? It comes from the Lord. He's the maker of heaven and earth, and the bringer of thunder and lightning and fire.
Well done. You have completed this week's quest. Can you be a hero for God?
Wow, Squawk, those goggles are so cool. Are you going to wear them afterwards? You might be seeing promises everywhere. Right, okay then. Now the prayer today is going to be led by Charles. Trafusis is our vicar. So he's doing the prayer today, Squawk. So he's going to do a chat and catch prayer. And if you're at home and you've got a blanket, go and get one because I think you might need it. Pause the video if you need to.
We're now going to spend some time chatting to God, but also we want to catch what God is saying to us. Imagine that you're in a cave, a very, very dark cave. There's no light anywhere, but also it's cold. If you're in a cold, dark cave, I think you'd want a blanket. Now I hope you've got a blanket ready and prepared, because I'm going to ask now that we all put on a blanket over our shoulders. Because if you imagine the blanket being the love of God, we can imagine and know God's love wrapped all around us. Now think about Elijah in that dark cave all by himself. But he wasn't by himself because God was also with him. So with this rug or blanket wrapped around us, let's know that we're in a safe place, that God is with us. As we go through this week, we know that Jesus is always beside us. So let's begin by thanking God for his presence and for his love. Just quietly, as you wrap the blanket around and feel nice and warm, just think about how much God loves you and thank him. And now I want you to imagine you're in this very dark cave. There's no light anywhere. What do you need? Well, I think one of the most useful things at a time like that, and if I ever go in a cave, I would want a torch, either to hold on to or to put on my head. I wonder what it is that Elijah wanted and needed. Well, he prayed for rain. He kept praying for rain. And sometimes we have to pray for things for a very long time, but God then answers our prayers. Sometimes God doesn't answer prayers immediately. I think of prayer sometimes being like a traffic light. Red is no. Yellow is wait. Green is God answers the prayer straight away. Tell God what you need at the moment as you live your life at home and at school. Tell God what you need so that you can follow him. As we think about the light helping Elijah see in the cave, tell God now, in the quietness, what you need. Now, once we've got a light in the cave, we can look around and we can see all sorts of things around us. We can see what we're surrounded by. And as we look around, I wonder what you can think of that you need to pray for. It may be other people. It may be, as you think in your mind, the people you know who are having a hard time or finding life difficult at home and at school. As you look around, you may be aware of your parents or your relatives who may be unhappy or unwell or having a difficult time. Just have a think and now tell God, as you look around in your mind, who those people are, what those needs are, and pray for them. It might be someone who's sad. It might be somebody who's finding it hard to follow Jesus. It might be somebody who's having a hard time. Let's tell God what we think they need. And finally, as we've been chatting to God, I always think one of the most important things is that we also catch what God is trying to say to us. I do that every day. I just spend some time sitting quietly and listening. Sometimes God gives me a word. It's just a word that keeps coming back into my mind. Sometimes it's a picture. It could be a picture of a signpost. It could be a picture of someone. It could be a picture of a particular situation, or it could be a place, or it could be anything. Sometimes God gives me a word, sometimes a picture, sometimes it's a thought. It can be all sorts of ways that God speaks to us. And I'm going to pray that the Holy Spirit now speaks to us, and we're going to have some quiet and just listen to what God is saying. So Holy Spirit, speak to us and help us to catch what you are saying to us. I wonder what God was saying to you then. Is it to pray for someone? Is it to do something? Is it to help God achieve something because he's asking you to do it? Whatever it is that you think God has been saying, don't just listen, but then also actually do what he is saying. And loving God, thank you that we can speak to you and that you can speak to us, and help us to follow you and be obedient to you as Elijah was. Amen.
Wow, Coco! That's that amazing magical thing again, isn't it? And these are Elijah's talents. He's got faith, definitely, and obedience, and a lot of help from God too. Learn those promises and use them. You don't have to do it on your own. God's there to help you be a hero for God. Hey Squawk, it's so good that you're feeling better. Brilliant. Okay, so let's end today with the cheeky pandas. Oh wow, because do you know what? I guess Elijah said that when that fire came down. What do you think, Squawk? Do you reckon he did? Yeah, I think he did too. So, we'll see you HTAkids next week for another session of HTAkids Online. And to do our final part of the quest, Squawk, final bit. Okay, see you, bye!
Na 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 clap your hands and sing, shout out and worship Him. So clap your hands and sing, and let the praise begin. Oh wow, what a God! Oh wow, what a God! There's no one like You. There'll never be another. Oh wow, what a God! Oh wow, what a God! There's no one like You. There'll never be another awesome God. Na 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 na. Look at all the animals, look at all the places round the world. There's only one creator, all the languages
We're talking in.
French, Spanish, Greek to Mandarin. Solo hay un creador. So clap your hands and sing, shout out and worship Him. So clap your hands and sing, and let the praise begin. Oh wow, what a God! Oh wow, what a God! There's no one like You. There'll never be another. Oh wow, what a God! Oh wow, what a God! There's no one like You. There'll never be another awesome God. You walked upon the earth You made. Oh wow, oh wow. You died and now we can be saved. Oh wow, oh wow. You rose and left an empty grave. Oh wow, oh wow. And one day You're coming back